$26 million more in not budgeted spending obligations looking to skyrocket. City of Quincy property. Taxes in 2026. QuincyQuarry News has undertaken arguably its most comprehensive review ever of an apparent coaching up inflicted upon long-suffering Quincy locals. The focus of this latest hard-hitting to the stones QuincyQuarry News' exposé: aspects of the serious problems with the city of Quincy's finances, which will likely result in soaring property tax bills come the start of the new 2026 tax year, as well as that further ugly tax bill increases are likely to continue for the rest of the decade. The core driving factor: roughly $26 million in city obligations for FY 2026, not included in Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch's FY 2026 budget. A budget which was unquestioningly approved by an always compliant Quincy City Council just last month. The approved City of Quincy FY 2026 budget runs $36 million more than the budget for FY 2025, a roughly 8.6% increase, even if it does not include the MIA 26 large. Even so, the dollar amount increase of the FY 2026 spending increase per the approved FY 2026 budget sets a new modern era record in terms of dollars, even though its 8.6% increase is less than a duly counted 9.8% spending increase in FY 2024. Only properly include the MIA $26 million into the mix, however, and the FY 2026 spending would total up to $62 million increase from FY 2025 spending, as well as works out to be a near 15% increase on a percentage basis, with both of these duly revised measures setting new records. New records going away. Blown away, going away new records. $16 million of the MIA 26 large ties to a Massachusetts Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission, PIRAC, assessment imposed upon the city of Quincy. The reason for the assessment? The city's employees' retirement fund net worth is insufficient to fulfill the actuarial pension obligations due city employees, exclusive of teachers whose pensions are tied to the state's teachers' pension fund. That this year's PIRAC assessment is inexplicably MIA in Mayor Koch's City Council. Approved FY 2026 budget is at least curious, as assessments have been annual budget expense items during the arguably too long and definitely profligate reign of the Koch machine. Further inexplicable as to why the assessment is MIA is that PIRAC provided multiple advance notices to the city of Quincy regarding the $16 million assessment for FY 2026, as far back as at least late last year per standard operating procedure. A key factor driving the assessment is that Quincy Mayor Koch's not recommended plan to issue $475 million in risky pension obligation bond debt in 2021, to then invest the net proceeds from this $500 million bond issue to prop up a then woefully underfunded pension fund has failed to meet plan. Additionally worsening the actuarial shortfall of the City of Quincy's pension fund, and thus increasing annual PIRAC assessments imposed upon local taxpayers, the Quincy City Council keeps approving unfunded cost of living increases to retired city employees' pension benefits. Further ugly, the $16 million FY 2026 PIRAC assessment is slated to increase by 5.4% every year through FY 2038, and so hit $30,075,162 in FY 2028, before tapering down to the mid-$18 million range in FY 2029 and FY 2040. So long as nothing more goes wrong, that is. In short, yet another coach-it-up fail imposed upon local taxpayers who will have to fund PIRAC's assessments for the next 15 years, instead of just the debt service on the $475 million pension obligations bond issue, which they were told by Mayor Koch would take care of the pension fund's then sorely underfunded status 4 years ago. Then again, what's upwards of $1 billion, including projected interest debt service expense in total, to make sure that Mayor Koch, as well as his hack hires' pensions, are duly funded? And as for the $10 million more not budgeted, it is a pro forma projection as to what it will cost to cover razors, given new and impending union contract for city workers. To this projection, the quarry can only properly note that only a new contract with teachers was been reached after the mayor's budget was approved, as well as that one of the other unions have reached new contact agreements. Regardless, the cost of raises for city union member employees will most likely need to be funded by local taxpayers via an off-the-budget books, and thus endeavored to be flown under the radar Line 10 adjustment when the Massachusetts Department of Revenue certifies Quincy's CY 2026 property tax rates, most likely in December and thus after November's local city council elections. Speaking of property taxes, the quants on Quincy Quarry News' Financial and Other Affairs desk are projecting a near 15% city spending increase in FY 2026 from FY 2025 spending. In turn, the projected 15% spending increase would indicate potential residential property tax bill increases on the order of at least 10% to 12%, unless Mayor Cook has a fat honeypot of cash, unknown to Quincy Quarry News' dogged, if not also rabid, financial investigators. Even worse for long-suffering local taxpayers, given a cache of untapped property tax levy, Mayor Cook can so skirt Prop 2.5 spending increase limits as the untapped levy allows him to skirt holding a Prop 2.5 override vote. Even though the apparently actual City of Quincy spending increase looks to be running roughly $15 million more than the usual baseline. Prop 2.5 tax levy limit, where they're not accrued untapped tax levy to tap. Further worse, given all manner of already set obligations in coming years by Mayor Koch, similar levels of in excess of standard Prop 2.5 levy limits taxation look likely for at least most of the rest of the decade. In turn, such will likely result in the painful picking of local property owners' pockets, given largely how the mayor has made a number of at least ill-advised to arguably flat-out bad decisions in years past. Further worse yet, Quincy Quarry is continuing to look into upwards of $23 million more in apparent city obligations apparently not budgeted or otherwise paid over the course of FY 2025 and FY 2026. That and surely also all but assuredly further attention by Standard & Poor.